Hi everyone, and welcome to Bae Watch episode 2. I'm Mara, and I'm sorry, frog in my throat, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Some Dumb American.
Today we're going to cover everything from Calexit to naked Mexicans in Times Square. So it's a lot.
And then after that, we're going to talk about celebrities and politics.
And if you would like to support the show, you can use the $ in the bottom left-hand corner of the chat box and be a part of the conversation, or you can purchase t-shirts and mugs from the Bae Watch Teespring store. That link is in the description.
And make sure you subscribe to the Bae Watch channel and follow Bae Watch on Twitter. The video is going to stay on my channel for 24 hours, and then it'll be archived onto the Bae Watch channel. So if you ever miss a live show, you can watch it there. And then once the Bae Watch channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, we'll do the live shows on Bae Watch. So go subscribe.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot happened this week. First of all, Scaramucci mouthed off to some people and then got his butt fired. So people were wondering how after that whole fiasco, Scaramucci didn't end up fired. And then, well, he did. So
yay.
Maybe.
Is it a yay? I don't know enough about American politics.
It's okay. A lot of people liked Scaramucci, including myself. But at the same time, what happened was kind of a mess. But I mean, he got hired, then he got fired, and it's just
I know
right now is a little bit of a revolving door. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I saw that he got fired. I'm like, isn't that the guy that literally just got hired, like not even 2 weeks ago?
That would be who that is. Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
So
I don't know how to make
Trump
that better.
Did Trump fire him, or did someone else fire him?
No, hold on 1 second. Let me just pull that up. It was somebody else. John Kelly fired him, and John Kelly is the chief of staff.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, and he's the new chief of staff, by the way. So revolving door extravaganza is what this administration is so far. Yeah, I mean,
is the chief of staff the person that manages, I guess, the staff of the administration?
Yeah, he's the guy who manages all the White House cabinet peeps. So
yeah.
Everything is supposed to go through the chief of staff to the president. Nobody else is supposed to have a direct line to the president.
Yeah.
But as of right now, a lot of people had a direct line to the president. And so John Kelly was like, we have to, be professional and fix this. And so, like I said, revolving door, it's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Oh, that's always.
But, a lot of people, a lot of the controversy, if you want to put it that way, about whether or not to fire him or to keep him on staff is because people were saying, stuff along the lines of, it's kind of nice to have a guy who's going to swear at the press. And I'm like, I kind of agree. I kind of don't agree. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Because part of me is like, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I feel you. I do.
Part of it's refreshing, and then the other part of it is you're working for the president.
Right. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. The one thing that I did want to cover that I totally forgot to put in our lineup, and I'm sorry about that, is the immigration adjustment, since we're talking about White House staff yelling at the press.
Okay.
The immigration adjustment is essentially that they want to slow down legal immigration, and they want to keep it to people who have real professional capabilities or who already have jobs, and people who can speak English. And Stephen Miller bitched his brains out at I believe it was a CNN correspondent who was like, so you mean Australia and the UK? And he was like, bitch, please, do you know how many countries require their citizens to speak English as a second language? That's school for them. a lot of most European countries, the population can speak fluent English if they're educated.
Yeah, and it's funny actually, like, because I don't know if they've actually gone through or not. It looks like Mag Bastard's in chat, so he might be able to tell me if it actually has gone through, or if it's just going to be happening. But they're redoing our citizen test thing to include to change from like, do you know when the first fleet arrived, to Australian values, which I think is much better, because who cares if someone knows when the first fleet got here?
Well, I think ideally I would have it be both.
Yeah, well, it could still include that stuff. I'm not sure, but I know that they are bringing it back to values as well. And
yeah, I would be down with that too, because I would,
like, are you going to blow people up? Should be a question.
Right. Yeah. Like, do you think like is "Alola" in your vocabulary, or is that not something that you say regularly? Like, is that something that you should yell at a party?
It's actually really weird. I went to a wedding in a Syrian Orthodox church a few years ago.
Interesting.
And that's kind of how they all like just because it was one of Stix's relatives. She was marrying an Assyrian like chick. She's Australian, but that heritage. And yeah, they all just started doing that. I can't even. My tongue doesn't move that quick. And I was just. It was the weirdest wedding as well. Like, the priest dude was dressed up in bright purple crap, but yeah, they all did that. I'm just like, this is a really weird wedding. Yeah. I think it's acceptable at weddings though, because it was kind of fun.
Well, as long as it's fun, right? But I just wanted to talk about that because I can't believe I missed that. That was like a big freaking deal, and I'm like, I have all the major news except for like the major news.
Whoops.
I'm stupid. Okay, so the next thing is Calexit, I believe.
Yes. So with that, I'm sorry, I've got a child in the background. So it looks like they're doing a petition in California where they have 180 days to collect 600,000 signatures to put Calexit on the 2018 ballot. Is that right?
Yeah. And it's interesting because the proposal for Calexit is not completely that they want to remove California from the Union. The basic idea right now is that they want the Congress people to push for California to have more independent, to be more independent, and to be able to make more like California specific decisions, which is interesting.
So the official title of the initiative is the California Autonomy from Federal Government Initiative. So
yeah, that was the word, autonomy. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry.
So is it like they're trying to be more of a Texas, but a more socialist Texas?
Yeah, basically, it's interesting. It's actually really interesting to see a super liberal state like that be like, states' rights, man. I'm like, you weren't super into states' rights when North Carolina did a bathroom thing, just like. But now you are. But all right, whatever. I'm not gonna judge, except harshly. Okay. So yeah, that was kind of. Yeah, they're like, states' rights, we're totally for it. And I'm like, you weren't for it 2 seconds ago, but let's not talk about that. So they want more autonomy. And that's for things like, sanctuary cities possibly becoming a sanctuary state.
Fuck off.
A lot of those liberal policies that would never get through on the federal level, they want the freedom to implement them on the state level.
So do we know what rights and responsibilities they'll have within the union if this goes forward?
I think they just kind of want California to become like a state, but like it's still in the union, but more like California gets to do whatever the fuck California wants to do. If that makes sense.
Okay, so it's like when women got the vote. You get all of the good stuff with none of the bad stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like
Oh God, that comment is probably going to trigger at least one person.
Just half a person is going to be very upset that you just said that. Only half, though. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
California. Remind me never to go there except to get a connecting flight.
Well, yeah, pretty much. And I guess for VidCon. But you're going to, well, we're both going to VidCon Australia next year.
I know, so that'll be fun.
I'll be at 2 VidCons next year, side note.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of Bae Watch,
money,
and you're you know, hopefully we'll both be able to afford to do that.
I hope so. But the only issue with this is like I kind of have to take like multiple children if I go to the one in the US. I'm not leaving them in a different country. I can't.
Yeah, but if if we both do the one in Australia, then we're kind of all good. Yeah. Anyway, so the next big thing, do you have anything else to add on California being its own shindig?
No, it's just I'm not surprised.
Okay, so the next big news was Airtransat, and what happened, and this is kind of odd. I forget where the flight was coming from, but it was going to Toronto, I believe, and it ended up stranded.
It was leaving Ottawa?
No, they landed in Ottawa.
Oh.
I think.
Okay, yeah.
And but either way, they ended up at an airport on the tarmac for 6 fucking hours, and they ran out of food, they ran out of water. They also ended up with no air conditioning.
Oh God, that would suck
right?
So bad.
For 6 fucking hours. So eventually a passenger called the police and was like, hello, fucking help. So the authorities finally got, them water, food. They still didn't let them deplane, which is ridiculous. But whatever. And Philip DeFranco put it like this: the airline Airtransat, that airline, put out a statement that was like, we saw these, it was a thing, we didn't have help, the airport was too busy with other shit to help us. And then Philip DeFranco put it like this: the airport made a statement that essentially said, bitch, what? Because the airport statement was like, we were ready to help, we tried to help, y'all said no. You lying motherfuckers.
Oh my God. That would just be awful.
Yeah, so that was a whole thing. Yeah, I don't even... I know.
Yeah. So I can see that they were given until Friday to provide an explanation why they were stranded without being allowed off the planes, but it doesn't look like they have provided that.
Yeah, I don't believe so. And then once they actually got into it was a 30-minute flight, so 6 hours on a tarmac, no air conditioning, no food, no water, had to call the cops for a 30-minute flight.
Oh,
why don't...
me.
Uh-oh.
You okay? I'll be back in 1 sec. Just keep talking about this.
So 30 minutes, that was a 30-minute flight, and I don't understand why in these situations, because these situations have not popped up a lot, but they've popped up. And for whatever reason, they don't let people off planes, and I don't understand that. Why not just let the people off the plane? That doesn't make sense to me. Wouldn't it make more sense to just let people off the plane and put them back on the plane when you're ready? Like, you have a gate open because that's where the plane is. I don't get it. Like, let people off the fucking plane. I'm ready to be like, that's fucking false imprisonment, okay? To be like, can I get out of here? And you're like, no.
Yeah, well, apparently one passenger was having like an anxiety attack as well, which if you've
Oh
got
yeah, people
anxiety and you're
threw
being,
up
oh
on the
God.
plane with
Oh,
no
so that's going to make it
AC,
even more pleasant.
right? Like, let people off the fucking plane, you crazy person.
Yeah, unless there's like a friggin' gun thing going on, let them off the fucking plane.
Yeah, I don't get why you wouldn't do that. That just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. I really don't get it.
So airlines are stupid. That seems to be the theme of 2017.
Right.
Airlines are just fucked.
They're very reputable establishments, I think is what you mean.
Yes, of course. They're very
Right. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Okay, and then sorry, this one is just hilarious. So pretty much there's these almost completely naked women going around Times Square harassing tourists and shit. And
yeah. So
the Desnudas, I
yeah.
can't do Spanish accents, but it means naked. And the police can't really do anything because they're mostly illegal immigrants, so they're not allowed to arrest them based on sanctuary city stuff. I don't understand the sanctuary city stuff. I thought you could still arrest people for harassing people naked.
It's just it's a bunch of topless women wandering around badgering people
and they're in
for
G-bangers.
And it's a mess. It's a mess. But okay, so sanctuary cities are kind of hard to explain, but essentially the point is that you're not putting an illegal immigrant at risk of being found by ICE, meaning that arresting them unless you absolutely have to is a big no-no, because if you arrest them and process them, it's going to come out that they're an illegal immigrant.
Oh, God.
But essentially what it means is that you're not beholden to the federal immigration laws, which is ridiculous that they can even do that. And yes, the federal government should absolutely be able to put in sanctions until these, or like restrict funding until these cities break down and are just like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, this is why I'm kind of glad we're an island, because there's not as much of a like illegal immigration still happens here. People come here on a holiday and just don't leave.
But it's not quite the same.
It's not.
I guess
it's not the same, and we don't have like millions of people crossing the border like in the dead of night and shit, and fucking, and then because it's not so big an issue, there's not so big an uproar with fucking them off.
Right.
So,
but you guys also have fairly strict immigration laws anyway, right?
for the most part, they are getting a bit tightened up, because we had like 417 visas, which was like a working visa type thing that you could come here for labor that we're lacking here. And it was supposed to be skilled labor, but the list of jobs you could do under a 457, 417, fucking whatever it is it just expanded to like caravan park manager, boom mic operator, shit like that. So it did kind of, but they're fucking off that visa, or they have, and they're replacing it with something else, and that's going to have a stricter list of jobs you can do on it apparently. So that'll be good. But for the most part, we do have a relatively strict immigration policy. Like I understand in the US, for example, you just say you were an immigrant, you could bring over your entire extended family and your husband's entire extended family, and then they could bring over their entire extended family as what is it, reconciliation or whatever it is.
Something like that.
Whereas here it's only spouse or equivalent and non-adult children, I believe, that you can bring over.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, that the family stuff is kind of interesting, because it's like you don't want to break families up, but at the same time, like you have to draw the line somewhere.
And if you're an adult, you come over on your own merit. Like if you're not
That's
immediately
true.
related,
That's true too. Like if you're the adult child or something, I mean, you could always study
come over on a student visa.
internationally, or yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of ways that you could still work it out. It's just like free ride. You have to meet these criteria, I guess.
Yeah.
Immigration it's not as strict over here, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of people in favor of having it not be strict at all.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with. I think we should be super persnickety about it, but that's just me.
Yeah. Give me one more second.
It's okay.
This is what life is, unfortunately. One second.
But in America, like popular opinion seems to be uh, that like we should lessen the restrictions on immigration, and and that we should give illegal immigrants a path to citizenship. And I disagree with the path to citizenship thing. So I disagree with the path to citizenship thing, because I don't think that we should reward people for being here illegally, whether they overstayed their visas, cross the border, from Mexico illegally, either from Mexico or from South America, whatever they did. I don't think that we should reward criminals by letting them become citizens.
Okay. Yeah. I think the only exception or that I would be willing to make in that situation would be the people that were brought over as children.
Well, we have DACA.
Yeah. I'm not against that concept, especially like if they've come over like when they're 2, they don't know anything else.
Yeah. I also don't agree with anchor babies.
No, although I am kind of tempted to get knocked up one more time and have an anchor baby.
Okay.
Before that all changes.
Mara have an anchor baby here, but then no more anchor babies.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Mag Bastard. Mara, I tweeted you a story on the test changes. Okay.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you.
I might actually do a video on that, because I actually need to do a video of some sort soon. Thank you, Bastard. I appreciate that.
So we'll look over that, and we'll have a chat about, maybe you can, if it's quick enough, you can tell us what's up about it. But
sorry, you go. I'm just gonna have a quick browse over this.
So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next little story that we were going to talk about. So there is this woman who has bought her 7-year-old daughter a bunch of fake tan, and the outfits that this pageant child is in are abhorrent, and she's calling critics crazy. And I'm just like, maybe you're the crazy. Just saying.
Honestly, pageant kids make me it's wrong. Like, you see what these, it's okay, it's initially cute when they're still wearing the big frilly dresses and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, they're no longer 3. Let's start dressing them up like they're Britney Spears backup dancers. And it just goes, no. And because beauty pageants are much bigger in the US than they are here, definitely. Because part of that's probably because you guys have a hell of a lot more people than us. But like, people put their kids in corsets, like make them sleep in corsets to help them develop a womanly figure,
which is ridiculous.
They have
crazy.
I know, it's gross.
Yeah, like leave your kiddies alone. Come on.
Yeah, like,
why?
I want to put her into figure skating, which, you know, they do wear like little tiny leotards, but they're also like any part of them that isn't covered by the bright part of the leotard has, you know, like really thick stocking material.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, you're a dancer. Like dancers do dress in rather tight clothes because they have to. Whereas a 7-year-old shouldn't be dressing up with fucking winged eyeliner, poofy hair, fake tan, and I shouldn't be able to see. Oh, like this picture in this article of her in this friggin' pink. I don't even know what that is, but it's gross.
It's gross, and it's, in my opinion,
I can see her underwear tan line. I should not be able to see your 7-year-old's underwear tan line.
Yeah, it's gross, and
they shouldn't even have one.
Right?
Ugh.
Like, ugh, it's awful. So, okay, well, yeah, never mind.
Were you about to go a bit on a rant?
No. It's just gross. Like, it freaks me out. I'm like, this is what Lindsay from Queer Kid Stuff wants your kids to do so that she can look at them, because it's okay to teach kids about sex. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I hate this. I hate it all. Like, I don't like it. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just quickly go back to the 6 new requirements for Australian citizenship. They have to pass an English, like the test in English. They used to be able to do a translator test.
That's good. I agree with that as well.
Yeah, they have to have been a permanent resident for at least 4 years instead of 1 year.
For us, it's 7.
Huh?
For us, it's 7 years.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
to become a permanent resident, then you also have to be here for X amount of time, I think, before that.
Yeah, for us, it's you have to be a resident for 7 years.
Yeah, I think to be a permanent resident, you have to be here for 2 years, and then it'll be 4 years as a permanent resident.
So it's
and
6
then
years.
Yeah,
in total.
something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they have to do more value-based tests. If they cheat, it's an automatic fail, and they can only fail the test 3 times, as opposed to before where there was no limit. You could fail the test 100 times and still keep taking it.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Yeah. Okay. So the next story that we had is this is just something that we're just going to talk about briefly. Affinity put out an article, and real quick, in case this is your first episode of Bae Watch, which it very well could be because it's only the second episode. When these episodes are archived, we do put all of the sources in the description, so you can see the sources there, and you can read all the articles. You can see where we got all of our information from. But Affinity magazine put out an article saying, "Do white men deserve to vote?" And their argument is that we should take the vote away from white men because everybody else had to earn the vote or beg for the vote, or beg for the vote. There we go. And so white men have never dealt with not having the vote. I mean, ignoring the fact that it used to be that you had to have property to vote, and there were plenty of white men who didn't meet that criteria.
I know, right?
But
you have to oppress people to bring up the oppressed.
Even when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's... I don't understand it. Like, I'm sorry, but the white men that had the vote before everyone else also had a lot more responsibility than everyone else. And I don't know, like, I can't, because it used to be, you know, because the spirit of the homeowner getting to vote and that's it would be your vote represents your household and your household's values. And
Yeah.
people used to be able to actually talk to their families about these politics without, killing each other. Because guess what? Men confer with their wives and often take their advice.
Yeah,
It's
women
shocking.
actually had a lot of political power prior. Like they actually, way before women could vote, they actually campaigned to women as well.
Yeah, because the women would convince their husbands to
Right.
vote what
So
way.
there is that. Like, I mean, it's not the same, but it's not as though women weren't figures in politics ever. They would do a lot of campaigning to women the way that, women are campaigned to individually today. It wasn't different. So,
And I think also people back then took their voting responsibilities much more seriously, whereas now it's people don't give a shit. Like I have to vote or I get fined, and
I think
I hate it.
I
I
think I
absolutely
give a
hate it.
shit because my parents were super like, you're gonna give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like the only person I know in my age bracket who actually goes and votes in local elections, but I do.
I
know, like if
honestly
there's a
care more
chance to
about our
vote,
local.
if there's a chance to vote, I vote. Well, local politics are kind of a big deal because that's what's going to affect you immediately. So, for example, I live in a county where the local, the local government in my county has chosen to keep it rural rather than putting in a sewer and letting it grow. And part of me is like, that's stupid. And then part of me is like, the area that I live in is so beautiful, and so many of the cities in the county that I live in have this really awesome small town vibe and have a ton of small businesses because they've kept it so rural.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, when I was like in high school, I was like, this is so stupid. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I'm actually a lot more for it because I like keeping the town small. I like keeping the population low because it keeps the crime rates low. And I am a sucker for like that that like small American town kind of vibe, like that Mystic Falls type thing. I'm like super into it. So yeah.
Yeah, we're currently having issues at the moment where they're making my area more medium density housing as opposed to low density. So we're going from like houses are getting knocked down and 9-story apartment blocks are getting put up. And I'm like, I really don't like that. And I got the opportunity recently to take part in a survey. And I was like, and I made it very clear. I'm like, no, I don't. No one wants this. We like it out here because it's spread out in quarter-acre blocks and, and all of that stuff. We don't want
blocks that is so close together. Oh my god.
I know.
I live on 2 acres.
I know, and I'm jealous. That said, there were stones throw from my house. There's like acre, 2-acre, 3-acre blocks, etc. But like the majority of this suburbia part here is like quarter-acre blocks, give or take, and then you see like all these new places going up, and it's they've got this tiny backyard that you can barely fit a swing set in.
Yeah,
all the houses look exactly the
same.
Hate
that. Yeah, I hate that. I hate all of that. And that's why I'm really okay with keeping the growth down. I get that it affects how much money the county makes, but at the same time, I don't want to give up the low crime rate. I don't want to give up the small businesses.
Or the small town culture.
Or the small town culture. I don't want to give up the low density. I mean, there are people with acres and acres of property because it's sort of a suburban area, but it's also rural at the same time. It kind of straddles it. So like 2 seconds from my house is like a super rural type area, but then there's also subdivisions, and the subdivisions here don't have houses that are super close together or anything like that. And the houses have like real backyards, and I like living in this kind of area, and I don't want that to change.
Yeah, no, I would be devastated if that changed. Like, because it's nice. I'm sorry, it's nice not having. Oh, I hate that. Like, I hate the city. I absolutely hate it. And
so do I. When I was younger, I was like, I want to live in the city, and now I'm like, no, I want to go to like that adorable Italian restaurant that's in town that is like the only one in the world. Okay, that's where I want to go now. So I'm okay with it not being a massive city. But the other thing is that where I live, civilization is not far away. It's like reasonably close. Same. So it's not like, you know, it's not like you're completely away from civilization. It's just that like not right here. Anyway, anything to add?
Nah.
Okay.
We're going a bit over, I think.
Yeah, so the Lena Dunham stewardess scandal is the next thing up on the chopping block. And Lena Dunham claims that she heard 2 American Airlines stewardesses talking about trans kids and how they disagree with it. And we'll just go over this quickly since we're kind of going over our allotted time that we wanted to spend on news. Okay. Here's the thing. And now she wants American Airlines to give everybody fucking sensitivity training. And here's
Fuck off.
Here's the thing. Okay. So, first of all, it's fucking Lena Dunham, and I'm not really sure that I trust that she's not lying through her big fat buck teeth.
She lies about everything.
Well, and I'm also surprised that there's no. So I confronted them, and then the whole bus clapped. Ending to that story as well.
Yes, the slow clap.
Yeah, that everybody was like, yeah, we fucking woohoo, Lena fucking Dunham. Are you sure that happened?
Sorry, I'm just imagining like the end of have you seen Not Another Teen Movie?
No.
It's like it's a parody movie of like teen movie tropes.
Okay.
And there's this guy that always tries to start the slow clap, and he always gets the timing wrong throughout the whole movie, and then he finally gets his chance at the end and someone else starts it.
Aww. That sucks.
It's really sad.
So that's kind of the end of that, but our dumbass of the week is Laura Loomer and her tire. If you don't already know, Laura Loomer claims that her tire got slashed. Even though
she also intentionally got her credibility is worse than Lena Dunham's.
Yeah, which is difficult. I mean, good for you for achieving something. I'll leave it there. You achieved something. Not much. It's not like it wasn't a good something, but boy, was it something. So yeah, and
I just can't get over the if you won't defend me and my tire.
Yeah, me and my tire, and everybody's like you know, like the "Don't talk to me or my son ever again" meme. Everybody's like, "Don't talk to me or my tire ever again." So, her and her tire. And okay, and then I guess onto the good mood food section because we like to end news on a happy note.
Yes.
So.
Okay, apparently they found a new methane-eating bacteria in, was it Antarctica or something?
Yeah.
God bless Antarctica.
Right? And the methane bacteria is
world-saving bacteria.
Right? And apparently this bacteria is going to save the atmosphere because they eat methane. So woohoo, I guess.
We should send the bacteria to like cow country.
Yeah,
so I think that's where the biggest methane emissions come from.
I think that's what they're thinking. So global warming is saved. We've saved the planet. Thank you, penguins and Antarctica. The last thing on good mood food is that Shane from The Walking Dead adopted a pit bull puppy. He's pretty. The puppy's pretty. And men with puppies make my knees weak. So Good mood food for me.
It is a beautiful little puppy, and I want
It is. It's so pretty. He's such a pretty dog, and he's pretty. So, you know, when everything's pretty, everything's pretty. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. All attractive men should have a puppy at all times.
They really should at all times. Like whenever one grows up, like don't throw it away. Keep that dog, but like you have to get a new puppy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really work if you're not already pretty. So if you're not already pretty, I mean, I'm sorry, puppies won't help. It's just sad. I mean, it helps a little bit.
If 10 Labrador puppies and you're butt ugly, you're still gonna get some attention because you got 10 Labrador puppies.
That's true. It's just, you know, they'll like come for the puppies, but they'll leave because of your face.
That's true.
So.
But your life didn't suck for 10 whole seconds, so yeah, you.
Yeah. There's hope. Anyway, so our topic this week is kind of like celebrities and their politics and their movements, and all of this is because of the J.K. Rowling, I don't know how it's pronounced, the J.K. Rowling controversy with Trump.
Yeah, and it really sucks because anyone that knows me for longer than 10 seconds knows how much I love Harry Potter, but words cannot describe how much I hate J.K. Rowling. And it makes me sad that such a moron wrote my favorite series.
So, yeah.
She lied. She lied this week in a big way, in such an easily disprovable way.
Yeah, so she said that Trump ignored a handicapped child when in fact that was the first person that she went and talked to, and then she sits on it for 3 fucking days, but she doesn't apologize to Trump, you know, the person attacked. She apologizes to the family of the kid. What? 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 That's why would you apologize to the family of the? I mean, I get why you would maybe apologize to them, but wouldn't you also apologize to the victim of your slander? Wouldn't that make a little bit more sense? I mean, that's ridiculous. Oh, this person did the thing. Oh, I'm sorry, not to the person who I accused of being a terrible person, but
oh my god. I'm okay, yeah, next week I'm definitely waking Stixie up before we do this.
It's okay.
I took her spoon and her toothbrush off of her because she wants them apparently though. But you know, it's ridiculous. Like, she's seen. Do you have to? My god.
Oh, it's okay. So sorry, baby complications. So
yeah, like I don't know. She's made like, and we see this so often as well. Like, a celebrity of whatever sort sees like a half-second clip that without looking at the rest of it, and then goes on this whole moral outrage spree, and then it's like, you fucked up, and they're like, oh, and then they just don't address it and hope that everyone forgets that they did that.
Yeah, but it's like,
and because they don't address it, a lot of their fans don't see that they were wrong, and so guaranteed in 2 years' time, people will still be talking about the time that Trump dissed the little tiny disabled boy.
Well, yeah, and like people keep pointing out, the correction is never as popular as the outrage post was,
and that's very true.
Yeah, so you know, it's not really going to be corrected, and like I said, her apology wasn't even to the person whom she slandered. It was to the little boy. And, you know, I don't disagree that she maybe apologizing to the little boy wasn't warranted, but apologizing
I think it was
to
warranted.
target,
Mm.
I think, is also important. But I guess J.K. Rowling doesn't agree with me. But the wider topic that we wanted to talk about was, you know, social justice in celebrities and in media and all that kind of stuff. So spoilers sort of for Spider-Man Homecoming if you haven't seen it. The character that Zinnia plays is very is very social justicey. Like, she's like, I don't want to celebrate something that was built by slaves, and when they go to the Washington Monument and stuff like that. And of course, you see this in Marvel Comics where they've gone full social justice warrior. And despite the fact that the comics are failing, they are going to keep doing it, which I don't understand at all.
Because I think they were looking at pulling back from that, but then there was outrage at them saying they're pulling back because no one wants it. So they're like, okay.
But it's outrage from people who are not your target audience.
Comic book. And these people don't read comic books at all.
Right.
Why are you trying to please them?
So, I think it's silly to try to please people that are not your target audience. And honestly, the social justice type crowd, you know, it's hard to tell how many people agree with what they're saying and how many people think it's fucking stupid, how many people will politely nod in public and who privately think it's stupid. You know, because, you know, like, say you're in college and you think that it's stupid, but would you really say that in a class where the professor is a liberal? Why would you? That's where, you know, you wouldn't do that. So it's hard to tell how many people really agree with this stuff and how many people are like, this is all a bunch of horse shit.
Honestly, I think it's really weird because we're so saturated by, you know, being a part of like this community.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone knows about all of this crazy shit, and then you go and, like, I was talking to my mum the other day and I mentioned something and she's like, the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I thought everyone knew about this.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that there's probably a lot of people who just don't give a fuck and who have not even thought. I think like 70% of people at the least are like, I don't even know what's going on. Because every time Lena Dunham says something, we're all like, can you fucking believe what Lena Dunham just said? That's like crazy, right? But then if you were to just talk to like somebody who's on the outside, and were to be like, well, look what Lena Dunham did, they'd be like, who the fuck is Lena Dunham? And you'd be like, I mean, how many people really know who the fuck Mattress Girl is?
Oh, no one knows who Mattress Girl is outside of this.
Right. And so sometimes you have to remember that we're kind of in a bubble of people who know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think it was it might have been Lacey's stream with Blair, maybe. Mattress Girl got brought up and Lacey's like, the fuck is Mattress Girl? Like, Lacey's been involved in this type of stuff for a few years and even she didn't know who Mattress Girl was. Yeah, so it's really crazy. Like, when you really think about it, you're like, so many people don't actually know a whole lot about this community. Either way, one way or another, people don't know about it. And it's weird because, look, I stream every night. You're basically my best friend. Like, I write. The internet is my life, okay? It's my job and it's my life. And the idea that there's a life out, like, it's like, here's the real world and like out there is the simulation. And it's so crazy that people just don't know everything that's going on. Did you just pull a Matrix reference? Yeah. You haven't even seen Matrix. I know. It's sort of like the Avatar reference too, where he's like falling in love with the blue lady and he's like, it's like, out here's the simulation and there is the real world. And it's, I don't know, it's like, because how many people are watching Sargon This Week in Stupid every week? I mean, when you think about it, Sargon, who's a massive channel, still only has, is he up to 600,000 subscribers yet? something like that, give or take.
And that's like a global number. That's not a lot of people.
That's a tiny number of people.
That is, I mean, comparatively, that's a tiny, tiny number of people. But, you know, but also if you found somebody who was also interested in politics and who was, say, on our side of the argument, they would probably know who Sargon is. But you have to, it's a very niche group of people, and it's really easy to forget that when I talk to people every day who know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm like, Mattress Girl did this, Lena Dunham did this, Laura Loomer cares about a fucking tire. Like, there are only so many people who understand who would understand the new meme of don't speak to me or my tire ever again would actually mean. And it's, and I don't know, it's really interesting to think about the fact that there are people out there who have not seen the joy that is Laura Loomer and her raids about her fucking tire.
Honestly, who was it? I think it might have been my cousin. I was taught, yeah, it was, because she was really confused, and bless her, she's sweetest kid, but dumb as a doorknob.
Aww.
I met, she was somehow Hillary Clinton came up, and I'm like, she waged war on Pepe, and my cousin's like, what? And I had to explain to my cousin who Pepe was.
I wouldn't
and it's
see
like,
there are things like that I don't even know how to explain. Like my mom today, she was like, "What does REKT mean?" And I'm like,
"Oh."
She was like, "What does it mean to get REKT?" And I'm like, "You mean to get wrecked?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I don't even know how to. And I know, and sometimes I don't even know how to explain this stuff because I'm like, how does one explain getting wrecked? So the way that I explained it. Because you're like, how do I even put that into words? Like, how do you explain Pepe? I'm like, he's Pepe.
He's a cartoon frog that has been around forever, and Hillary.
And I don't even know what the Pepe meme even means. I don't know. All I know is that he's our Lord and Savior. God bless Harambe. Praise gag. So.
And yet you still don't get Shaladay. Shaladay. Fuck me.
That's how I read it as Shaladay.
I know. And it's just like I don't say it, but I say it, and I'm like I get it. And every time you say it, you're like, what is this? Why?
Yeah, I know. I'm a bad Nazi. No, but the way that I explained
it's not all right though. Jeff Holiday says it all the time.
Yeah, he's all whatever. I don't know.
I don't
actually think that Jeff Holiday's alt-right. The way that's a joke is that everybody thinks that everybody's alt-right, just in case you guys think that I don't like Jeff Holiday or that I'm trying to slander Jeff Holiday. I love Jeff. Just okay. Anyway, the way that I explained
like bastard. Sorry, how did you explain Wrecked?
The way that I explained Wrecked was I was like, you know how when you're in an argument and there's like an ooh shit moment? And my mom was like, yeah. I was like, that's getting wrecked. I don't know. That was the best way that I could. Because like if you're the
it's
victim of
pretty apt.
I was like, if you're the victim of the ooh shit, you got wrecked. Does that make sense? You hear that? I don't know what the hell just happened. Something just exploded in my house. Okay, well, the show must go on.
Yeah. Praying for your family.
Yeah, thanks. Pray for me, y'all. But it's interesting because as much as this is actually like the social justice stuff is in popular media, you have to wonder how many people really care enough to know what's going on.
To even notice.
Yeah, because like for every angry feminist that writes an article about Game of Thrones, how many Game of Thrones fans even know that feminists hate Sansa Stark? Like when you really think about it, how many people even know about feminism? I mean, most people think that feminism is dead. Like when so it's kind of interesting. But then I also wonder if the recent presidential election made people pay more attention, because a lot of people got so much channel growth during the presidential election. And
Yeah.
I just don't know. Part of me is like, I need to make more friends at college and like ask people, but I'm also going to be in political science courses. So I'm going to be asking people who already know, because they're in, political science. So typically people who are in political science classes care.
Does your college have like a home ec department?
Home ec
Yeah.
department?
Like they do chefy stuff in colleges too?
Chefy stuff? Not at my college.
Chefy stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So
maybe I'm thinking of TAFE here. I'm thinking of TAFE, which is our community college. Never mind.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting because it's in so much
media.
media. And I also wonder if we're just hyper aware of everything, because sometimes I see something and I'm like, some feminist somewhere is pissed about that. Or I'm like, that's racist, according to feminism. Like, I know what they'd be offended by, like, to a T.
Yeah.
I'm like, this would upset somebody. Like, when we were reading Rivermark back, I was thinking to myself, I was like, if anybody, it's interesting how many things feminists don't care about, and, like, the cultural appropriation people don't bitch about. When you really think about it, like, they bitch about very specific things, because when we were reading Rivermark, I was like, I wonder if there's an angry article about Patricia Briggs and her use of Native American things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm actually watching Good Wife at the moment because I gave up on Jane the Virgin because I rage quit because she has sex and it pisses me off. And I'm watching Good Wife, and my God, there is so much. Sometimes I don't know what the writers are thinking, because occasionally there is a bit of a not hardcore left-wing feminist spin on something, but then a lot of it is still that. Like, there's been multiple pro making illegal immigrants legal episodes. They're always mentioning the glass ceiling and shattering that, and all of this stuff. But then there was this thing, like in this episode the other day, where that I watched, where it was there's a new staff member. She's there for a few episodes, and then she's like, I'm quitting because I am now engaged and I'm pregnant and I want to be a mom. And she's like, you can do it all. And she's like, but I don't want to. And maybe that's the point. Maybe it's a generational thing, but maybe I don't have anything to maybe I don't have to prove anything. And if I do have to, I don't want to. And then they're all like, oh my God, because then the big boss is like, I don't think that's what the glass ceiling, I don't think this is how we shatter glass ceilings or something. And it's like, fuck, bitch just wants to raise her child.
Well, that's actually part of the reason why I'm really glad that I've got YouTube and that I'm writing a book, because I've got like 3 years left of college or so, and I'm like, if I can grow something out of these shows and out of my YouTube channel, and I'll have probably 3 books out by the time I graduate college, and if I can do something with that, then that means that I can basically work from home. Yeah. And I'll still work, but I'll be able to be a stay-at-home mom.
Get a nanny.
And then get a nanny and not watch my kids while I'm at home. I'm just kidding, sort of, kind of.
You can have a break from your kids while you stream and do your weekly stream, apparently.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping to be able to do, but it's interesting, like, that's an interesting kind of exchange to have, because you're wondering where the writers fall on that issue. So you're like, are you trying to shame women who decide that their families matter to them, or?
I honestly don't know what they were trying to do, because then there's also this one character that's always like gets super offended at racial profiling. She's the daughter of Indian immigrants, legal ones, because she specifies that. And yeah, she gets very like, you know, pissed off every time they do it, any sort of racial profiling or generalizing by race. But then in one of the illegal immigrant episodes, the main character's like, I thought you'd be more sympathetic. And she's like, why? Because my parents immigrated here legally. I should be more sympathetic to illegal immigrants. Fuck no. And it's like, I don't know what this character wants.
I agree with that, but also that sounded really inconsistent with.
Yeah, I was really confused. I'm like, I don't know.
I take politics out of my writing, honestly. Like, I just.
Yeah, I'm. That's my goal as well. I don't want my work to be a political statement unless it's a political statement.
My biases definitely show through because I tend to set things in small towns because I like small towns. I really like that vibe. I don't know why.
Small towns work well for fantasy.
Yeah, they really do. I just really like the small town vibe. It makes me happy. I like being in small towns. I love it when like a small town has a small like main street and then like a grid, but it's only like 4 blocks wide. Like that kind of stuff makes me happy. So you see a lot of that in my writing. I never do an I am woman, hear me roar kind of main character because they irritate me. So those are things that you would see in my writing, but it's not necessarily like a political statement.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You know, your book doesn't feel political at all, which is good. Like,
I don't even see where you would even have it be political either.
Yeah, you haven't, at least in this one, there's not much room for that, you know, I am woman moment.
Yeah, like there isn't, because it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, maybe in one of the spin-off series, like you're at risk of towing that line. Oh, really?
I can't. Well, yeah, I don't think so. Because none of them have anything to do with that. I'm sorry. I don't think you guys can see your face right now, but I can, and she's laughing, and it's making me laugh. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I don't think that any of my series are at risk of that happening. Just because they're usually evenly popular, but it just doesn't matter. So and it's like, and it's up to you, the author, as to whether or not any of that matters. But yeah, anyway.
We might have to, because it doesn't look like she's gonna get any calmer. Oh God. Yeah, I think we might wrap it up because we're past. Oh crap! What time is that? We're past 8. So
yeah. So we're gonna leave it there.
And next week I will have the kitties being watched.
It's okay. Next week we will be on my channel. Remember to subscribe to Bae Watch and follow Bae Watch on Twitter. And
yes.
This will be up here for 24 hours and then up on the Bae Watch channel.
That's what I was about to say. Stop stealing my shit. Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming. I'm Mara Jane and Some Dumb American, and you have been listening to Bae Watch, and bye.
Bye.